Frag Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Frag Tag Radio. And here with you today is your boy, Pradius. And so we got a pretty good episode for you today. First, after we get them plugs out of the way, want to do the 2015 FTR Game Awards, our annual thing. We've been doing it. I think this is our 4th year. And after that, talk about a little Warframe, and that should wrap up the show. So, without further ado, let's get those plugs out of the way. First of all, Appy Gamer. Appy makes you happy. You can catch Appy Gamer on Android, iOS, or Windows. Great app. Totally free. Get all your gaming news sources in one app. It's just the best app ever. And also Gaming News and Reviews, which is also on Android and iOS. No Windows app for that one, I don't think, but on Android and iOS. Another great app, very similar to Appy Gamer. It gives you all your news sources in one convenient place. Cool thing about Gaming News and Reviews is it actually groups similar articles together. So if there is an article like, say, the release date of Quantum Break and 7 different sites report on it, you won't see that same article 7 times in a row from different sites. It'll group them all together into one so that you're not scrolling past the same thing multiple times, which is actually pretty cool. And then, of course, Game On. Shouts to Troy. Game On is on Windows Phone and iOS. I'm hoping that they'll get an Android app eventually, but right now it's just Windows Phone and iOS. If you're on Windows Phone, there is no Better Game and News app for you. Definitely pick that up. And if you're on iOS, check it out as well. Of course, Frag Tag Radio. We are in all of those apps, as well as you can catch us on fragtagradio.com, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere. iTunes. Can't think of anything. I don't know. There's other, but you get the idea. All right. So, 2015 Game Awards. So let's start out with the Game of the Year. Now, this was a hard one for me because I played a number of good games this year. The Witcher 3 was good. Halo 5 was good. Forza Motorsport was good. I like Gears of War Ultimate Edition, even though it was just a remaster per se. But Game of the Year has to go to Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's just a great game. They took everything that was great about the original reboot from 2013 and just took it to the next level. With the amount of optional tombs you can explore, the combat, the story was really good, graphics look great. It's a beautiful game, challenging. It's the total package. And if you are a fan of action adventure games or just a video game fan in general, and you haven't played Rise of the Tomb Raider yet, you owe it to yourself to check that ish out. Next up, Studio of the Year. I am giving Studio of the Year to Digital Extremes just because I've been playing so much Warframe this year. It's insane. The amount of Warframe that I've been playing night and day, and as you know, I try to do at least a little bit of Warframe coverage on every episode these days. So there's that. Now, the Booger of the Year, which is the crappiest game to come out all year for 2015, goes to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. Now, I gotta admit, I was also thinking about giving this award to Batman, it was Arkham Knight, but in the end I ended up going with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 because it doesn't even deserve the name Tony Hawk on it. It is just the worst skating game ever made. But with that said, Batman wasn't that great either. And I know there are some defenders of Batman out there that will say, what are you talking about? But come on now. Come on. Really? You know. That Batmobile shit was stupid. Anyway, best shooter. goes to Halo 5. I mean, what other better shooter came out this year? Was it Black Ops 3? No, I don't think so. I can't think of any other shooter that Gears of War Ultimate Edition was in the running. I thought about that as well, but that was a remaster and not a brand new game. So, best shooter goes to Halo 5. I did have my reservations about the campaign in Halo 5. If you watched or read my review, however, the multiplayer is the best Halo multiplayer since Halo 2, and it's the best multiplayer this year. Probably even the best multiplayer in the last couple of years. It's just great. And there is so much content, so much customization, so much great gunplay there in the multiplayer, so many different modes that you will be able to keep yourself busy for months, months. And if you haven't played Halo 5, then you must not even own an Xbox because everybody should have played Halo 5 by now. Best racer goes, of course, to Forza Motorsport 6. I don't even think there was another racer from this year that was even close to being as good as Forza Motorsport 6. I know it seems like our racing award goes every year to a Forza game, but Forza just makes the best damn racing games out there, and that's not my fault. I'd love to give the award to a different game or a different franchise if somebody else could come up with a racing game that's even close to being as good as Forza. Best RPG, that goes to The Witcher 3. I also considered Fallout 4 because technically Fallout 4 is an RPG. But Fallout 4 has, while being great, I haven't enjoyed it as much as Fallout 3 or New Vegas. I don't know, maybe the world of Fallout's lost a little bit of its charm, or maybe it's just the world that they built with the whole Boston thing that I'm not feeling, with the whole tight up spaces and big tight knit city areas with a bunch of little narrow streets, and it's really easy to get lost. Um, I don't know. And the story wasn't as great as I think it could have been either. But then again, it's always been about the side quests anyways in Fallout. But yeah, so Witcher 3, it was just an absolutely amazing game. It came out towards the beginning of this year, actually, more towards the beginning, and has stayed in my mind ever since. And they've had some great free DLCs and the first great big expansion to come out, which we will talk about in a little bit. But yeah, Witcher 3 is just a phenomenal game. And if you like RPGs and you haven't played The Witcher 3, then you owe it to yourself to check that ish out. All right, so next up is Best Action Adventure. This goes also to Rise of the Tomb Raider. So that is 2 awards for Rise of the Tomb Raider so far. Rise of the Tomb Raider is, of course, an action-adventure game. And if it's worth getting Game of the Year, it's damn sure worth getting Best Action-Adventure Game of the Year. So Rise of the Tomb Raider for Best Action Adventure. Best horror/scary game goes to Resident Evil Revelations 2. There really wasn't a lot in the way of horror games to come out this year. It was really kind of a slow year for horror games, but I was a huge fan of the original Revelations. Played it with a friend of mine, with the multiplayer of that for a couple months straight on 360 when it got ported over to console. And so when Revelations 2 came out, I was super stoked, and I enjoyed it very much. That being said, I think I like the original Revelations just a little bit better, but Revelations 2 is still a great game. Best fighting game, Killer Instinct, Season 2, Season 3 about to come up soon. Killer Instinct just remains a phenomenal, amazing fighting game, no matter what way you slice it, no matter what way you look at it. And Street Fighter V will be coming out this year, and you know what? Maybe that'll take the award next year. Maybe it'll be Killer Instinct again. Because Killer Instinct is just an amazing game. Fighting game as far as the mind games, and that you can play with your opponent, and the way you have to kind of outthink your opponent or guess what their next move is going to be, or think ahead and kind of get into their minds. It's just a really, really great fighting game. Fast, fluid, amazing, good-looking game. Great moves. I love the characters, even though a lot of them are pretty cliche. But it's Killer Instinct, best fighter. Best sports game goes to FIFA 16. There really wasn't any great sports games this year. I also considered giving this to Super Mega Baseball. So there's that. And then best remake, of course, goes to Gears of War Ultimate Edition. This is the first Gears of War to uh, come from the Coalition, the new studio at Microsoft, headed up by Rod Ferguson, who are currently working on Gears of War 4. And I gotta say, they did an amazing job of remastering the original Gears of War. It looks brand new. They added even a few new little mechanics to it here and there to make it feel fresh. All the Gears of War 3 multiplayer characters, you can play as those in multiplayer, because in the original Gears there was only like 5 cogs and 5 locusts, and now they just added a ton to it, and it was obviously a passion project that a lot of love and excitement went into, and I'm actually kind of really glad they did it, not just because I'm a big fan of the original Gears, but also because I know tackling this project probably gave them, the people on the team who had never worked on a Gears before, what they needed to go into making sure that Gears of War 4 turns out to be a great game. Um, Best new IP. I gotta say, there wasn't really a lot of great new IPs to come out this year either. I did consider giving best new IP to Bloodborne, but Ark Survival Evolved. This is a surprise game, came out right at the end of the year, and it has taken Xbox by storm. It's already been on PC for a while, and pretty much open world survival game. You do whatever the hell you want, and you can tame dinosaurs. There's even like bionic T Rexes. The shit's crazy. I've only played a little of it myself, but I watched my son play it and others play it, and it's just a crazy awesome game. If you haven't played it, it is currently in game preview on Xbox, so you can buy it while it's still in like beta form, and automatically get upgraded to the full version when it's completed. So definitely check that out. Ark Survival Evolved if you haven't. Best new IP. Best indie game goes to Warframe. Come on, that goes without saying. You know what a big Warframe fan I am. Don't be surprised if best indie game goes to Warframe every year for the next, I don't know, whoever knows how many years. I don't even play a lot of indie games anyway. So, best free to play, Warframe. Yeah, best free to play game goes to Warframe, and Smite. This was actually a tie for me. I thought about giving it to Smite. I thought about giving it to Warframe. I said, you know what? They're both just such great free to play games, and they deserve recognition. I was hoping that Fable Legends would have been out by now, so that it could have been in consideration for the running. As I've been playing the beta for a while now, but yeah, Warframe and Smite tied for best free to play game. Best multiplayer goes to Halo 5. Like I said, the best part of Halo 5 is the multiplayer, and it's just fantastic, phenomenal multiplayer. Um, Best DLC goes to Witcher 3, the Hearts of Stone expansion. Um, there was a couple other big expansions to come out this year. Um, Destiny: The Taken King, although that is what wasn't even, didn't even consider that for this award, and you'll see why in a few. Um, and I think Dragon Age had a pretty decent sized DLC this year, but yeah, Hearts of Stone expansion for The Witcher 3, best DLC for 2015. Best graphics goes to Forza Motorsport 6. Forza, on top of being a great game that plays great, is also a great looking game. And Turn 10 always turns it up when it comes to the graphics. I mean, the eye candy that is the cars and Forza, and even like the tracks and the scenery. It just very immersive. The realness of the graphics in Forza, and Forza Motorsport 6 is no different. It's just an amazing looking game. Best soundtrack goes to Halo 5. While the campaign might have not been my most favorite Halo campaign ever, the music definitely had me going the whole time I was playing. I think they did a really good job with the music. Of course, Halo has always been known for its epic soundtracks, large-scale orchestras, and Halo 5 nailed it. Most fun to play, this is a tie between Warframe, surprise, and Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I had a ton of fun playing the multiplayer on Gears again through Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and I'm still playing it. So along with Warframe, which I'm still playing as well. So Warframe and Gears of War Ultimate Edition for most fun to play. Now we get down to the last few. Most disappointing this year was no doubt Destiny the Taken King. It was just a garbage expansion that they build as a whole new game that, and sold as a single, game in the store, and tried to pass it off like it was a new Destiny when it was actually just an expansion for the original Destiny, and a bad one at that. I played it, I did my review on it. Um, it's it was a decent distraction for about a week, and then I was done, bored with it again, and oh Destiny, how you disappoint me. Most broken was Batman Arkham Knight. Now this game was unplayable when it first launched on PC. Then they said they'd fixed it, and it was still unplayable, and it was just riddled with problems all over the board. Yeah, most broken goes to Batman Arkham Knight. And then finally, most anticipated games for 2016 goes to Gears of War 4, because you all know what a huge Gears of War fan I am. I cannot wait to see what the hell is going to happen in Gears of War 4. I mean, we defeated the Locust Queen in Gears of War 3. What the hell could be happening now? That's when I'm interested in finding out what's going on. What were those crazy looking beetle bug freaking creatures from the video, a little bit of gameplay they showed at E3? I thought it was pretty amazing, and the graphics were just looking with the wind blowing through those trees and stuff. Wow. And of course, Quantum Break, which is coming up just in a couple months here, like 2 months away. Quantum Break. Remedy, one of my favorite studios, if not my favorite studio. As y'all know, Alan Wake is my favorite game on 360. I think is the best game of last generation. I know lots of people might disagree, but Alan Wake was just an amazing game. Still is to this day. I still turn on my 360 to play it. Hopefully they add it to backwards compatibility on Xbox One soon. But yeah, Quantum Break looks like it's going to be amazing. And that does it for our Game of the Awards for 2015. Now, I've been playing Update 18. I think it's 1808 of Warframe on console since the week before Christmas, the week of Christmas, early that week. I don't know. Been playing the hell out of it, and I've been playing daily ever since. And I haven't stopped. I don't think I played anything else over the Christmas New Year's break but Warframe. That's all I've been playing. So the new Avara frame. She is a very stealth frame, but also an archer frame. Her main ability lets her whip out her Artemis bow, and you can wind it up. And if you mod out your frame right, that Artemis bow can deal some serious damage. She also has some stealth abilities. One, you shoot a stealth arrow on the ground, it makes a giant circle, and if you're standing in that circle, you become invisible for as long as you're in that circle or until the circle duration runs out. And then there's another one where you can turn invisible and get headshots, and the more you keep chaining headshots together, you keep staying invisible and you keep moving around. So that's a pretty great ability as well. They have expanded the ship, or the Lisette as it were. Now in the back of the ship, you go to your arsenal, and there's two little hallways that lead down into the bottom back bows of the ship, and you go back there and there's a door and it's locked, and you can't get in there right away. But there is a way to get in there, and that is to play through the second Dream Quest. This is a cinematic quest, the first cinematic quest that they've done for Warframe. I gotta say, it was pretty mind-blowing quest. You find out what's going on with the Lotus, what the origins of the Tenno are, what their purpose are, and you gain some new abilities along the way. So it is most definitely a quest worth playing if you are a Warframe player and somehow have not played it yet. You should most definitely play it, not only to unlock that room on the back of your ship, but also to unlock your focus abilities. All players, once unlocked, now have focus abilities, which are an overall ability that is with you no matter what Warframe you have equipped. Whether I'm playing as Frost, Mesa, Necros, it don't matter. The whichever focus you choose is with you always, no matter what frame you have equipped, and you select it just like you do a regular Warframe ability, except, like if you're on console, right bumper lets you select one of the 4 Warframe abilities. Well, now you can use the right bumper to select the 5th ability, which is your overall, focus ability. Now, when you get to the point where you're able to unlock your focus ability, there are, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different focuses you can do, or schools of teaching. There is the Matarai, the Vazarin, the Naraman, the Uniru, and Zinaric, and I probably mispronounced like half of those, but whatever. So Matarai, speed and savagery, that is the school I chose. It's all about dealing damage, and there is even some like you shoot like a giant beam out of your chest, and it just deals massive damage to any enemies in its path. And there are other like sub skill trees you can unlock along the way to make it more powerful, or split the beams up, or go into bursts, or lower the cooldown. And then there's passive abilities that increases your overall slash damage, puncture damage, impact damage for the duration of an entire mission. You don't even need to activate the ability to reap those benefits of the extra damages. Let's see, and then the ones I didn't choose, Vazarin, trained to counter the enemy and move with an opponent's attacks in order to nullify them. I think that might be one more centered around healing, like a team based focus, where it's designed around to not only help yourself but other teammates as well. That also might be the one that has the instant revive, where you can instantly revive a teammate, which is pretty cool. Naraman focused on knowing the enemy. Tacticians of the Naraman truly believed understanding a foe would confer a greater advantage. So this one like reveals weak spots on the enemies, and you're able to really take advantage of their weaknesses and deal more damage that way. The Uniru push themselves to outlast the enemy, to withstand all aggression without retreat. This is like a tank class, where you can like up your health, shields, and make yourself last a lot longer. And then the Zinaric dominate the enemy, sought to choke out an opponent of all resources. Sheer strength could erase resistance. I don't really know much about the Zinaric one. I do believe that it's all about constantly keeping like spells on the enemy, or draining them of their energy so they can't use their abilities, or maybe nullifying their abilities so they can't use them at all. Yeah, but domination, you can get the point from there. Now, there is also, after playing that, you will unlock 3 new nodes on Earth, which, even though they're under Earth, they're actually the Orokin Moon, which is the new planet. I imagine they'll add the actual moon to the star chart once there's more missions to go under it. Right now with only 3, they're just tucking them under Earth for now. But the Orokin Moon is just an amazing, amazing looking place. It almost looks like the Void a little bit, but like a old, worn, tore down version of the Void. And it's pretty cool. So you also get to fight the new sentient enemies there, and they are able to adapt to your attack. So you have to like keep switching up your attacks on them, or they will adapt and you won't be dealing hardly no damage to them at all. And when they attack, oh my goodness, they can lay you out, knock you down quick. There are also the new raid, the Jordan's Precept raid, which is known as the Arcwing raid. But you're not in Arcwing the whole time. That's only like parts of it or whatever. You're also on the ground a lot as well. So great raid. Brings along with it a lot of new arcane enchantments for you to collect and install into your helmets and Syandanas. So that's pretty sweet. And then lastly, they had the dev stream this Friday. Admittedly, I was hoping they would announce a lot more than they did. because they did not announce much. They did say there will be 2 to 3 Second Dream scale cinematic quests coming this year. So if you know and you have played the Second Dream, you know how huge that quest is. You know that there will be, that's good, great news that there's going to be 2 to 3 more of that scale, maybe even bigger, coming this year. And then at the end, those quests coming throughout the year are going to lead to a big bomb or quest finale conclusion at the end of the year. So I don't know, could they be talking about the big bomb blowing up the void? I know they've been talking about that for a while now. So perhaps that's what they're alluding to. You know, the big bomb being the void finally blowing up at the conclusion of this quest line. And then new NPCs beefing up the relay stations. So not only will the relay stations be getting overhaul, they'll be adding new NPCs to the relay stations that can be interacted with, bought stuff from. I know they were talking about adding a token system that you can buy like parts from like the sorties and things like that. Instead of, relying on RNG all the time, you can use the tokens you've earned to kind of pick up a few things here and there. And then lastly, the Trinity and Banshee Deluxe skins coming soon. I think Trinity is right around the corner, and probably already be on PC by the time you see this. And then Banshee right after that. Can't wait to see what those deluxe skins look like, and for them to come to console so that I can check them out. But that pretty much wraps up the show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to chat with me on Twitter anytime at Frag Radio, or give me a shout on Xbox. My gamer tag is Pradius XUCM, Pradius XUCM. I'll be glad to play with you, especially if you're trying to get down on some Warframe, Killer Instinct, Halo. I play those games. Here's War Ultimate Edition. And it's been a great show. Now I'll catch y'all next time. Peace. Frag Radio.